So what is consciousness? In English we have two words for consciousness, or we have two ways of thinking about consciousness. We have conscience and then consciousness. And conscience we normally associate more with knowing the difference between good and bad, or right and wrong. And I think the French still only have one word, conscience, which refers to both the moral understanding and the higher intellectual stuff we associate with consciousness. It's just conscience. It's the same thing. And I think that prior to probably Descartes, the Western intellectual philosophical world considered what we consider consciousness today to be only conscience, or only the knowledge of good and evil, the ability to know when you're sinning and when you're not. That is what defined being a conscious human being was for, for a medieval man backward. Now for Socrates, see, for the Greeks, what made you conscious was your ability to know the truth. If you could be rational, and if you could, being rational for them meant your ability to know the truth, to get to the essence of things, then you were really human. And that's the Greeks said, well, human beings can know the truth. That's what makes them humans. And the Christians said, no, it's knowing evil that makes us human. Knowing our own sin is what makes us human. And I think that's a carryover of, the Judaic tradition of morality, of life is inherently good or bad, that everything you do is inherently good or bad, whereas the Greeks saw more in terms of true and false. And the Western world, as a marriage between these two ideas, is really conflicted, because we're, on the one hand, very moral people, very vitally alive and emotional people that recognize their existence as sort of an ultimate thing. Like you were born and you're going to die, and here you are having to be a person, finding yourself amongst other people, amongst these distinctions between good and evil, and right and wrong, having to side with right somehow, and not knowing really how to do it. But then you have the Greek tradition that likes to be more distanced from life and abstract into these objective, scientific, essential categories that are supposed to represent the world in itself. And that is looking more for truth and falsity. A truth and falsity divorced from the down and dirty, and sometimes the loving aspects of life itself. Science, Greek philosophy wants to distance itself from the more religious involvement of the Judaic side of our cultural influence.